Well, good afternoon. I just got back from a few days out in the mountains, and I had a surprise waiting for me when I got home. So first, we're going to be doing this. I know you all know what it is. Old Coleman. Here's some pictures of its condition. We're just going to clean it up, make it presentable, and give it back to a friend of mine. It belonged to her grandfather, and she would like to give it to her father, and I don't want to tear it all apart and paint it and polish it up. I want it to have the battle scars, because he's probably not going to use it. But I want it to be presentable. So we're going to find that balance between restored and cleaned up, I hope. Before we start that, though, when I got home yesterday, there was a package waiting for me that I was not expecting. So without further ado, let's check it out. I cut the legs on my stool, my bench stool, because my table here is low, and I'm always, anyway, I like it. I should have filmed it. So this is from Bill. I'm over at Rollerball's channel. Bill is an amazing person, and his channel, boy, he'll put you to task because he does some incredible work. And he sent this out and made my homecoming grand. I'm opening as we speak here. The note. You don't get to read it, so I'll come back. Okay, that was really nice. Yeah, that was... Bill and I both share a love of electronics, and we both have a military background, and so we have that in common. And he sent me his sticker. I really am going to set up and his card. I need to do this. Anyway, I'm going to set up my board in the basement where I can put these. I put a sticker up. Actually, I built one of Bill's stickers up in here, and it hasn't held up well because I'm so damp. So let's get to it. Paper? No. All right. Oh, here we go. We'll go from the end. Well, I'll be darned. Okay, guys, look at that. That is a BT20 battery tester. And what a beauty from Mallory. Oh boy, it looks like it could use a little dusting off. Got leads with it. Oh, okay, they're integrated with it. And we're gonna be checking that out. I wonder if it works. Wouldn't be surprised. These old guys, look at that, it's Bakelite case. Beautiful, Bill. And then, oh my God, I already know what this is. Does anybody not watch Bill's channel? If you do, you know what this is. He did this a while back. Oh, look at that. What a beauty. Oh my God. TS297U multimeter. Let's see if I can get it. Look at that. My goodness. I remember when he did this on his channel, and I was a little jealous of it. Wow, Bill. That's amazing. Wow. Sorry, yeah. Oh man, I can't wait to play with that. I think I have some old leads I might even be able to make work with it. Wouldn't that be something? Boy, some of these bring me back 100 years to when I was a young sailor. And one more item. Oh, no way. Look at that. If you don't know, Bill is a custom knife maker. Look at that. Oh my gosh. That is absolutely beautiful. Look at that handle. And wait. Can you? Yeah, I think so. 9mm? Yeah, no, 38. 38 special. Look at that. Oh, Bill, thank you so much. This is going to be a daily use wearer on my belt. Unreal. I wonder if I am going to have to try and carve something with it, because that's what I do. Thank you, Bill. Thank you so much for all of this. If you don't watch his channel, hang up here and go watch it now. Here. Okay. Wow, back to the boring stuff. I think step one of this, other than drilling out rivets, I want to see if we just take everything apart that's screwed together, if that'll get us far enough to make a dent in making this look pretty again. So let's try that. Oh, boy, this thing is in rough shape. It'd be interesting to know if we can get it to work again, too. Oh, if we can get it to work, that would be pretty cool, I guess. And I don't know, I think these are just crimped in, so I'll have to see what it's going to take to get those out. There's the little burner stack. And I'm thinking these have to come out so I can get this thing to lift out of here. Let me figure out what that's gonna take. All right. These nuts, 7/16 underneath each burner, attaching it to the plate. Ta-da! I started to take this off, but I guess I didn't really have to. But who knows where we're going to go with that, so maybe I'll still wind up taking that off, but for now we'll just set it back in there. Okay. So that's like our burner assembly. That's that nice shiny silver plate to reflect the heat up. All right, y'all. This is as far as I've taken it down. And I gotta say, I'm a little overwhelmed with where to go with it. I think I'm gonna do some soaking and scrubbing of the burner parts and the grill parts here and figure out what to do from there. And I think I'm gonna focus on the case, because if I can get that fairly cleaned up, that'll kind of dictate how far to go with the rest of it, I think. Okay, quick update. There's half the handle cleaned up. And a little bit of this cleaned up, and as compared to the other side. So again, we're bringing it back to well loved but used from derelict left to die. And here's a perfect example. This is the hinge closure on one side, and this is the side I'm working on. So I think it's gonna look pretty good when we're all, oh, you can kind of see the difference there. Okay, we're going to close out day one. These came out real well. Still, obviously, it all needs a little more work. But look at this. Ew. And if you go all the way over there, she's drying in the sun. Now, how we're going to stop and contain that rust, we'll find out tomorrow. So I hit all the really rough spots with a little bit of sandpaper, and now I have this rust neutralizer. It's just going to make it converted, keep it from getting worse. Then I'm going to give it a good cleaning with some gentle soap because it's still got a lot of grease buildup. But I think once I get this on, we're going to just let it dry. I guess supposedly I could paint over it, but that kind of defeats the purpose that I'm trying for, which is to keep it as close to Grandpa had it, but not let it get any worse, if that makes sense. Yeah, it would probably be cool with a full restoration, and maybe that's something they'll want to do in the future. I'm just going by what she asked me for now. Okay, so I went in with the Windex. I got all the baked on crud out of it. Just the case, the fuel tank, and heat deflector is what I'm going to call it. So I'm going to let that dry real good and kind of use maybe a little rubbing compound to bring some of the shine back, but then a paste wax over all those encapsulated rust and the bare metal and what's left of the paint. This is kind of the level I'm looking for. It looks like it was well cared for, put away every season, cleaned up, but still shows the love it received out on the battlefield. So if I can get everything else to come out like this, I think it'll do all right. All right, day 3. This has been heavily waxed, and now I'm gonna sit here and buff it all out, and that's just to keep the rust from growing. I think we've got it where we want it. Let's see if I can give you there's again, it's where I think, it's where I think it needs to be. So I'm gonna buff it out, and then we're gonna go through putting it back together, and we'll talk about what we did. On this, we kind of slowed the rust and are sealing it in, and we cleaned up the hasps and stuff the best we could without taking it all apart and nickel plating them and doing all that. We're going to keep the original look without the original pending death. So I buffed this out as best I could, but the temperature dropped last night here, and it's rainy cold out, and so the wax is thick. So when I get it all done, I'll take it down to my basement, leave it there for a few hours and do it. And if you remember, when I took it apart, I had to figure out how to thread those through, as well as line up the burner onto the plate. That's not how you do it. Hang on. Okay, there we go. And now we have to get behind it and get the nuts on to secure it. It's not hard to do, just a little bit awkward. All right, I ran these screws through the wire brush, obviously, to get the nasty off of them. Now they're gonna go back in and hold this thing for another 20, 30 years. I don't know how old this thing is. But you could research it, but I don't want to. Maybe you know, maybe you had one of these as a young lad or lassie, and you said, oh, shoot, that's from 19, fill in the blank. Let me know. And that's gonna hold our little reflector plate. All right, now I'm gonna, as I go through, I see little spots where the wax is really built up. So I give it a hit before we get to the final buffing in the house. Yeah. Let's get the parts arranged for the burners, and I'll show you how we put those back in. All right, we referred back to our photo, so we would get the proper stacking of these little wafers for the burner. Just carefully set that there. And one here. And let's try and stay nice and neat stacks. I think we're looking good. Huh. I should have done that a while ago. These are nice and stable now. It doesn't, I don't know if I'm going to be happy with the result. I'm like, maybe I should have taken it down and repainted it. I guess I'll wonder about that for a while. I think, other than buff it out, I am going to take it this apart and see if I can clean out the little orifice, just because that was the problem I had on the lantern the other day. So let's get that cleaned out and go from there as far as putting it in. And I mean, everything goes together. It looks a lot better. Will it work? We'll find out. Ironically, I can see through the orifice. It looks pretty good. But we'll clean it up, and we'll get those threads cleaned up too. I'm going to tell you a secret. I don't want you to go telling everybody, but I pressure tested this. And you're going to want to know the secret as to why, but you can't do it this way yourself. Get a little oil down in there to seal that pump seal. I closed the valve, and obviously this one's closed and locked. And I went like this. And while I was doing that, I opened the valve and I heard the hiss of air. Don't do that, okay? It was fine. This has been dry for a week. But don't do that. Okay, I got some gas from the owner. Pumped her up. I went to turn it on and I had a leak here. But it was just right around the valve stem and it was just a simple tighten, and it seemed, so I thought, let's light this thing together and see if I can burn down my garage and get a new one. Whoa. Oh, look at that. Okay, you want to flame it up a little bit. Burn out any junk we got in there, I guess, right? What a beauty, huh? Ha! It works. Let's risk it. Oh, there we go. Huh. Woo! Woo! I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. But they're burning. Last one. Holy cow. All right. You guys bring the bacon and eggs. I'll see you on the next one. Okay, real quick. I know this is going to be a long video, but it works. I notified the young lady who owns it to come get it for her pop. That was a fun project. I would love to do one over the top, but I think the money you put into new paint and primers and all, it wouldn't be worth it, but it'd be fun. We also saw our friend Rollerball, Bill, who sent those amazing gifts. So they'll be in the upcoming video. But I wanted to show you. I went out in my alley and there was a box dumped off. And I looked. 1, 2, 3 extension cords that look perfect. In addition to that, there was a little electric pressure washer, and at first I left it because I have a pressure washer, but then I brought it in because why not? It's a project. Anyway, thanks if you stuck around through this whole thing. You're a champ, and I will see you next week, I hope. Bye for now.